I'm going to make 5 22mm wide Zulu straps. I bought the buckles here from the buckle guy, and I just cut a straight edge. I'm using these here to trace a line on the leather. I'm using this as a straight edge to run the round cutter on, and let's see how it goes. I'll do a bunch of short clips, and I'm listening to Bigfoot stories as I do it. As I cut the strips, I place them back here so that I can keep this straight edge here flat. All right, just makes sense. I'm padding it up with the strips I'm cutting.
That's science for you, man. Wilson's rant on France edited out. Hey, Bobby, your ranting call, like the hinted, cut it out. Come on, I want to ask about the nose part.
Oh, that's interesting. So this time, it went off on an angle here. I'm plenty long on this. I'm sure I could still use this piece, but that was the first time that's happened. So I have to be careful about my pressure. I'm marking this here with an X, so I know that this strap is no good at this end. This is the side I'll fold over maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but I just want to make sure I don't make a mistake later.
Pragnathic, like as in orangutans. Did the jaw project or jut forward? Nope. Was the forehead sloped as with male gorillas? I don't recall it did. No. What was that? Oh, just me popping a stick of gum. Was the head pointed? A shaped conical or unusually shaped in any way, you notice? The head was shaped like mine. I know what you mean, though. No, the top of its head was more like mine, only bigger. In the one you saw, did you see an A-shaped head pointy? Bobby, no I didn't, but I don't recall that it was extraordinarily big. When you say big like you do, big like as in what? Paul, his size, you mean? I never saw him standing. He was down.
Oh, look, I nicked it on that one. That's okay. The beveler might take care of that, which is the next step.
Bigger. I think bigger.
I want to do a bunch of short clips and make a short video of this, but this is kind of something I'll just show you real quick.
Yes, ma'am. He was
so you can see right there how I just cleaned up that edge, I think, on screen.
You know, thicker, broader, laying there, unmistakably broad through the chest, upper chest.
So I'll do that to all of them. I'll round the end I want to round, and then I'll have that clean edge on there.
Thanks. Now, how about long down?
All I'm doing here is marking about where I want my stitch lines to be, and then I'm going to mark that on all 5 of these at the same time. And then when I fold this over, I'll transfer it over here, right? I'll have this point here is where the buckle part goes that has the locker. I don't know what you call that. And all these lines will be the same. And then I'll just keep going. So I matched this up here, folded it over, right? Got the end mark. And I'm going to mark this on all of them exactly the same.
Like me, but some different. The hair will throw you.
I'm using the pen just because it's, you know, it's easy. It's what I have here on hand. There's probably something else I should be using, but this works. It worked on the last one. Should work on this one. And of course, this doesn't need to be an exact science. Keep in mind, this is a Zulu single pass strap. Eventually, I'll be doing buns and everything else. This is probably the simplest thing you could do in leather. To practice a saddle stitch and all that, and that's all I care about at the moment. I mean, a lot more stuff coming. Covers for my axes, my chisels, and all that other good stuff. So I'm putting little pen marks on the edge so I can see them. I'll fold it over to here, and I'm going to go ahead and punch my marks now because I know what I'm doing. I did this before. All right, I'm just going to eyeball this.
This was no creature. This is no animal, man. It was a man. Like me, but
I almost forgot. Got to go through the top side to make it look better.
I didn't expect this. I didn't think this was a man when I pulled back to set my bow. Oh, ma'am, I did. He had to have been down on his knees, bending over, ass towards me. The black hair threw me.
I'm using a dead blow hammer from the wood shop because one shot does that. You see these people talking about hammers, but this is all you need right there. It's perfect. Look at that. Probably hit it too hard.
Back then, I was very young and excited. A charged kid, bending over like he was. He looked just like a grazing bear with his back to us, ass in towards me, head down. Bobby. Sounds like what Clayton Mack said during the grizzly hunt he was on to the planet Montana. Did you ever breed grizzlies and white guys? He also described sneaking up on a bear, what he thought was a bear, until the stuff faced him. Paul. No, I don't think I know that story. Where was this? Balacoola, BC. Okay. Well, anyway, he was alive when you touched him. No, he was dead then. The genitalia, was it black-skinned? No, he could pass for a northern Cheyenne man like me. Thick black pubes around there, very large, but he was altogether a big man. His size was overall something to be believed. I'm guessing 8 or 9 feet tall. Did you ever see him standing upright? No. Even when you walked up on him, he was already down on all fours? Yes, that's right, I never saw him upright. But what about when you walked up on him? He said he was moving? Yes, ma'am. You mean after I took the shot? Well, yes, he was alive and was growing.
All right, so I'll repeat that on all 5, the other 4 straps.
What did you see?
I've adjusted these to find exact center, and I'm just gonna, you can't see it this way. Sure, I'm still adjusted correct, and all I'm doing here now is I'm just gonna mark right here. It's a little.
My dear, any crest if he had one wouldn't show.
I'm going to do that on each band, and I'm going to use a punch. And the way I did it last time is I punched right through this way, through both sides, and then I used a razor knife and I just pulled forward, and then I cleaned it up a bit. I'm not telling you that's how you should do it, but that's how I'm doing it. I'll just do this one for you real quick.
Several minutes looking him over, as much as 20-30 minutes may have gone by. He was just unbelievable. Then, that was when we heard a distant scream, like a big puma, and it was answered by another much louder scream within yards of us.
All right.
It seemed like it rattles back to his healthy.
It's probably not the right way to do it,
My arm stood straight
but
up.
you know what? I got a chisel here that I had out for something else earlier. Let's see if this works.
You see, this is now like flash thoughts happen fast, but now it wasn't probably that fast. I don't know anymore. But damn it, scared me. But damn it, scared me. The scream, you know. I feared the worst, like there was another Bigfoot of this guy's size still out there looking for this dead guy. We didn't know what.
Well, that was a lot cleaner than using a razor knife.
Found the way out of there. No words were exchanged. We both knew.
And that doesn't look too bad to me. I'll get better at that. But that's pretty good. I'll do the rest of them.
But you didn't see the others?
Yeah, let's go ahead and see what this looks like.
Were you ever in those caves? Did you? Oh, sure, lots of times as a kid. Some of those tunnels snake around those mountains for miles, some very deep. We played in caves in the res, you know. But we never went in them deep. They were dangerous drop-offs in areas where the tubes got very small or blocked from us getting around. Those caves
So
got very cold.
that's how that works
The
out
wind
there.
whistled through and sounded really eerie, like soft whispering or someone whispering.
Hope you can see this. I'm not looking from the back side of the camera, but once I stitch that, that'll be perfect. And again, these are 22 millimeter wide for this old Seiko here, this new kooky watch I picked up. I've got a bunch of Seikos that are 22 millimeters. I'll have extras of these. So yeah. I just taught myself a little thing here. Punching it from both sides will give you a cleaner hole. I'll show you on this next one, this last one. But this technique is pretty quick and easy and fast. It seems like a lot faster than I've been seeing other people do. So, let's put you over here. Sorry for the camera movement. Don't know what you can see, but we'll give this a shot here. I'm going far enough back to have enough room for the thickness of the steel, right? I'm just eyeballing all this.
There's the unmistakable smell of bacon cooking. It was always there. The place had no whistling wind. We heard it said those lava tubes eventually exit to the south somewhere in the lava fields.
So if you look here, it's like a bullet going through with like an exit wound or going through a board or something. All that blowout on this side. So just come in back this way. You don't have to go so hard that way. And now you have a cleaner hole on both sides.
said he never spoke about it. I mean, there's no particular reason for keeping that to himself. Or that he was
It's nice. This is so sharp, you know. I guess if you have one of those broad knives, leather knives, it'd work for you too. Whoop, whoop. The first one that screwed up on me. Go back through this side here.
Which he said he believed in before it told him a very short life for those who shoot a Sasquatch. As for Paul's cousin, he died when he was quite young.
Yeah, that figures.
In the Wind River Range of Wyoming. Paul died in Aurora, Colorado. The bad omen of the Northern Cheyenne took Paul.
I'll clean that up sepaparely with a little razor knife. I don't want to make this worse. Well, wait a second. I got it. I can do it right here. This goes on an angle. There we go. There we go. That's good. So yeah, I'm just learning these techniques as I go. That'll look great once the buckle and the stitching is in. Alright, so this is the stuff I bought. Everybody recommends it. People also recommend these things here. Don't waste your money. I tried this. The glue comes out around here, drips all over your work and your work surface, and the tip gets clogged anyhow. So I'm going to try my own little technique here. Haven't done this yet. I might be making a mistake. If I do, you'll see it here in front of you. I just took boy, I haven't eaten takeout in a while, but I took one of the covers of a takeout delivery thing and made this little tool. You don't have to buy any of this stuff. I mean, I'm using a wood chisel here. I'm using a lot of stuff I have already. I'm just going to go ahead and unscrew this. I'm going to put a little bit in this cap here. That's way more than I'm going to need. And it might start drying on me as I'm working, so that was probably a mistake. The most tedious part of this entire project, oh look, I need my readers, is getting all of these things in place and then making sure you do it correct. I mean, first of all, that's the first thing. So like there's a little seam here. I don't know if this is showing up on camera. There's a little seam where this folds over. You want to make sure you have this on the top. This should be the good side. You're looking down at your wrist. So we want to make sure that that's going to be in there like this. So I'm going to fold that down. I got to put the rings on first. Make sure we put all the rings in here correctly with the splits on the inside. Just put them in here for now. Put this back over. That's how it's going to go. This is just, I'm going to do this this way because it should work for me. I know this is how I want it to sit. I know that's how it's going to go. I'm going to fold that back over. I'm going to stick this through here. I know it fits. Now I'm going to pull that back. I'm going to flip this back over, the keeper, and I'm going to stick that through. I'm going to force that forward. I'm going to fold this over, and boom, there we go. This is all correct. I know that I'm going to have a ring here, and I'm going to have another ring here. All right. So that's how it's going to go. I know that as long as I line the cut end of my leather up, my stitching holes are going to line up. And now I got to eyeball this. This goes up here. And I just want to, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up in a moment. Just want to make sure I have all this correct. I know that's going to go like this. It's going to go in the fat spot. And I want to make sure I know where my glue is going to go, right? And I want to mark on here for myself where the glue goes. I'm going to stop the camera and mark it and then show you. So this isn't such a long video. Well, I lied. I'm going to just figure this out. The simple way to do it is just put glue where the stitching holes are. And it sticks to this pretty good. I found that when I did this last time, I wanted to put glue on both sides, even though this isn't contact cement. It seemed to work a little bit better that way. This doesn't stick like contact cement, so it was definitely tedious when I did it. It was not any fun You can get a little glue on the buckle. It's not going to hurt anything. And I'm telling you, this is the hardest part of the whole project, and it's not hard. It's just, you know, you're like, gee whiz, how do I get this? You got to fiddle around with it, and you basically just have to give a little pressure to it. What I'm gonna do, and I should have done this at the shop, I want to make some little, yeah, it's way too much glue I got in there. I'm gonna have to cover that so it doesn't dry out on me. But what I want to do is I want to make a wooden block that is shaped correct to form around these rings that I can then basically squeeze together as I'm doing right now, right? And it'll, you know, hold it basically with like a spring clamp sort of thing. Because this is you just got to make sure you get that pretty tight here. I hope you're probably not seeing that. I'm more oh shit, hang on. All right, so I got great neighbors, man. They just brought me warm bread, French bread. I haven't eaten bread. I did a funny picture of me the other day, kind of half-heartedly flexing with the abs and everything, which is crazy that I can look that way at this age, but it's because I don't eat bread. I don't eat pizza. I don't drink beer. I hope I'm doing this right. I hope these holes line up. Anyhow, so it's starting to stick. I didn't get enough glue, I don't think, in this middle section. But you've got to hold this here for a little bit. And like I said, I just need to make a couple I could draw it for you, but I think you get the idea. Imagine a wooden block that has, I could drill holes in it, split it in half, and lay it on here and clamp it, and it would allow the buckle section to be relieved and just have pressure points right here where I'm pushing this with my fingers right now. All right, should make sense to you. Matter of fact, hang on a second. So, like the clothespin has a hole here, you know, something like that. Of course, this doesn't actually line up correct. But this is starting to hold. Alright. So that's not the end of the world. I just paused that for a second or two each time. You are seeing this in real time. Those were just quick stop moments. I apologize. But there you see it. So contact cement, it pretty much sits, I believe, right as you hit it. Boy, I don't know. I hope these holes line up. What I can do, as long as it looks good from the front, I can go ahead and you know, I can do something like this here, and I can double check, and I can whack this a little bit before I stitch, which is not right now. Yeah, that lined up, so that was a nice little safety check. That means the rest of them should line up, and the next thing you'll see is, well, I'm going to glue all these because the glue is out before it all dries. And then I've got this stitching pony here that clamps right to the edge of the table. I like this one. It's got magnets in it, which catches the sewing needles, makes it a little faster, and we'll just keep working. All right, so here's 4 of them. You know, it's interesting. I think it'd be smarter for me next time to do this glue and then punch the holes, because when it folds over, there's always that chance that the holes don't line up. I don't know if I this is not about you seeing me, by the way. As you guys know, I don't really care. But what I'm doing now is I'm going back through the holes before I stitch them, and you know, make sure I get it in the front here. You don't have to hit it so hard. So that one did line up, but I noticed on the one I'm up here, it's off. So on the bottom, the good news is you don't notice the bottom so much with the holes. So it doesn't technically have to like come off as a mistake. This one's lining up too, so that's good. So anyhow, that's a little tip for you. I think the next time I do these, I'll do my pinch, glue, right? And then I'll punch the holes. Dar. You know, hey, you live, you learn. Remember, I'm just now learning how to do all this stuff. So my next thing is I'm going to take, oh boy, some thread here. I'm going to use black thread. These 5, this first one I did here, I did with this waxed thread I had. And by the way, I had this stuff already. I had this, I had the Speedy Stitcher, which I haven't used yet. I know how to use it because I was going to do some other sorts. I had this and this in like a survival kit, just in case. I figured if I was in the middle of nowhere and the shit hit the fan and I had to take care of stuff and sew stuff together or whatever, or I'm in the van and I need to fix something, I have the stuff to do it and I can figure it out, right? I can figure this out. This is not brain, even if I didn't watch a video or something, it's not brain surgery. I can figure it out. So I didn't have to buy this stuff. I bought this stuff years ago. I've had this stuff for 10 years. So I've got this black wax thread. So that's what I'm going to use on these. I've got, I think these are number, what are these called here? Is this right? Size 2. I think it's size 3. These bigger needles here. If you don't know, saddle stitch needles are blunt on the end. And it's a pretty simple thing. I'm still learning how to get the right length, and I'm going to pause you for a quick second. You know, on this sort of thing, there is a lot of waste. I mean, the stuff isn't that expensive, but these are like the cutoffs from when I did the other. There's a bunch of them here. And because, you know, you need this to be long enough, you know, for you to put a needle on each end and then take the needle and go... Excuse me, I had some of that bread. It's in my throat. So what you do is you take this thing here and you feed it, excuse me, you feed it through the end and pull it through. And then you got to take this here and run it right through the thread. And some people will do it more than once. Some people will bunch it up first. I found just forcing it like this here tends to, well, I was working with the white thread. It looks like the black thread's a little bit more tough, so I'm going to probably have to, there we go, spin it out like this here. You probably can't see that. I'm not adjusting the camera for macro for you, but this is, again, this is not really a how-to. I'm just showing you how I'm doing it, but there we go. So you just do this here. Some people do that more than once, but you pull it down. And now that'll hold well enough so you can poke that through the holes in the leather. And we gotta do this other side here. This table's filthy. There's stuff, and you know, you might notice some breadcrumbs in the frame because you know what? Yes, I did. I ate the heel of that French bread already, and then another little piece. That's the reason I don't eat bread. Also, I'm not good with sugar. Is a thing for me, man. Sugar is a poison. I'm telling you, it's a drug like any other drug. It really is, and I have an addiction to it, so I try not to keep it in the house. What I can have is like some fruit in the house, because that will solve the sugary desire I'm looking for. So, yeah. Anyhow, so you just do that there, and now we could try the saddle stitch. So I'm not going to show you this. I meant to pause that, but I shut it off, so there might be a little jump in the video here. So I'm not going to, you know, this is not going to be a tutorial on how to do this, okay? Let's see. I'm going to spin this band around. I'm going to keep the good side on my right. And so basically, people do it different ways. I've seen people force this through here and then force the other needle through while the needle is still in there. This is a pretty fat needle and pretty small holes at the same time. So I'm going to pull this through, use the magnet. I'm going to come back through this side here. There's a hole on the back side. And you want to make sure that you get it, you know, loop over the top here and pull this through. I totally did that wrong. Oh, no, I did that right. I forgot. I wanted to go around the outside. It's exactly correct. So I want to make sure these needles are relatively even. There we go. All right. So that's pretty good. And then you just continue same way right across. Not really much to it. This is, I'm going to pull this through quite a bit. I'm going to leave this loop here. Come back through the back side. I really don't have enough light. That's the big thing that's killing me. And I'm going to make sure I throw this over. I think that's right. And I'm just going to cinch that a little bit, not go super crazy. Go back through here. The key is, what I noticed on the white one, where is it? Where is it? Where is the band that I made the other day? That's not it. Look at this. I am totally losing my mind. Oh, here it is. So, is this the one? No, that's a store-bought. Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay, so this one here, when I made it, I showed it to you guys. It doesn't look perfect here either, but it looks better. You can basically adjust the stitch line with your fingernail a little bit, you know, and then it looks correct. It's the first time I did a picture of it, it didn't look fantastic. I don't know if that's on camera, sorry. But, yeah, so I'm just going to poke this through now. Let that stick to the magnet. Keep the loop here. Come back through the back side. I'm actually just going to try something here. I'm just going to go next to it. I'm not going to loop it over. So I don't think it's going to matter. Just pull it kind of snug. Come back through here. Come back through here. It's only the second time doing this, so I'm not an expert. There we go. Now, this is going to wrap around. I'm going to pull this right around the back side here. Okay. Now, I feel like I should have done 2 around here because I'm going to do 2 around the outside on this side. And as I continue, I'll put 2 loops around the outside on the rest of them. Okay. I'm going to take this one here. I could actually double this up all the way around, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go the next hole over. I'm going to poke this through. It's a little tough. I got a little piece of wood here. Works like a thimble. And then that's it. So I can tie this in a square knot on the back, cut the threads, and hit it with a lighter. You see how much extra thread there is. So next time I do this, I'll try it with less. It's interesting to learn all about this. You got to find like the right, you know, length that you need so you don't have a lot of waste, I suppose. Anyhow, I know the whole apartment's a mess. That's what happens when you're building stuff in your house all the time. So it's not terrible. It looks pretty good to me. And that's it. I'm going to do all of them, and then I'll show you a little clip at the end. I know there's better ways to do this, but all I've been doing is laying the other band on top of it and splitting the difference on the sides and then driving some holes right through, and did a pretty neat job. And I'm not, you know, I'm making these for myself right now, so I'm just doing a short row. There are some bands I have that have, you know, look at this thing. This has, look at all the holes in this. Like when you put this on the watch, and you put this on your wrist,
the minute or so we looked at each other, neither of us
you can see there's holes all the way up on here. You're never going to use all those holes, so I'm just trying to be Spartan with it. I'll trim the end.
and not something new to me.
And I have a different, let me show you something really quick here. There are actually videos on people showing you how to wear a Zulu or a NATO strap.
He was a good deal taller than me.
And I've been doing it a couple different ways, but I finally came up with
I could make out hair and a hair-covered body.
a weight, gee whiz.
A would like to mention
Hang
something
on a
more
second here.
recent to you, like half moons,
So
fairly large
what I've been doing
asteroids
lately
that
is
were
this,
about
coming
50
over
feet
underneath the
long,
first
getting
ring,
smaller as you went further in.
and then I'm going
They have fine
around
branches
the
piled on
second
top of each
ring
other,
and tucking the
like this
leather
big, and not one side is
underneath.
human, like candy wrappers,
Wet my finger a little bit to get a little extra
just pine
friction
branches
on there,
inside, nothing else.
and I'm getting that real
Plus, they
snug
look to me
there.
as
I'm
though something
feeding
very
that
large
real
is
well
bedding down
underneath
in
there, and then I lock it down with
I
this
guess what
one,
really
and it
caught
stays
my
like that
attention
all
was the
day.
base of the branches were about the size of a man's wrist or forearm and had been broken or pulled off the tree. The stringers of pine boughs showed that.
So that's how I'm doing it.
That's what I saw, smelled, and heard.
So I'm just going to do this arbitrary thing here. It's again, it's not that important to me. This is actually a 1946 penny. I know it's a little long, so I'm just eyeballing this.
I thought of a lot of things.
I'm just going to come across the top here.
It was more that I didn't know that anybody believed in Bigfoot at all. We saw this creature. He was walking on two legs, hairy. The best way I can describe it.
Of course, this
Probably 3 or 4 seconds.
unbelievable, huh?
And it started to walk towards
That
us.
sewing pony was in my way.
It had its arms in the air and was waving them like, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." Kind of a universal thing in any language. Anybody raises his hands, sign of surrender. I didn't know what it was. To me, it was just a monster. I'm looking at this monster. By this time, I have the bullet in the chamber, my finger on the trigger, and it's coming towards us.
All right,
slowly,
so we'll do that, and then
waving.
I noticed that this I got the
A lot
input
of
of the
people are
nickel.
saying I shot
This
it.
is a number
Then you
one,
have a deer and
this
you shoot it on
beveler,
the
and
shoulder,
this
you're gonna
chrome
penetrate
tan
the
horsehide.
On a person, it's
It-
a hard
it-
area to
it,
describe, but
um,
it's basically right under the shoulder.
It's so soft that you can push it over. So
So, maybe
cutting
5
it with
seconds
this,
had
it's
passed,
not
and
as
my buddy
nice as I'd
said,
like it to
"Don't
be.
shoot, don't shoot, it's not a bear. Don't shoot." And I'm kind of locked in on this thing. To me, it was a monster. That's all it was.
Now on
You
my
know,
first
guns
one, I
don't
went
really
ahead and hit
grow
that
up.
with
We've been
sandpaper.
together a lot over the years.
Actually, what I
We
used
know
was
what
this
gonna
thing
happen
here.
next. Normally, when we see something, the truck stops, both of us get out, and we go
Just
our
evening
rifles
this
on
out a little
immediately.
bit.
Well, my buddy was still using his binoculars because he didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to think. I'm looking at this thing, and I'm pretty close to pulling the trigger. I've just been squeezing this whole time, and he's getting louder and louder. He's like, "Hey, bro, don't shoot.
So let's
don't shoot."
see what this
That
looks
is
like
not a
on the
bear.
wrist,
It's a
huh?
person in a
This is
suit.
the first one.
That's a
Here's
person in a
some of the
suit. Don't
details.
shoot. And I'm thinking, well, if that's
You
a
know,
person
black
in a suit,
thread. What I like
well,
about the
real
black
talk
thread on the
here,
black
as I'm
leather
walking
is
around
that,
conspiracy with the first
turn
suit
this
on,
off for you here.
something doesn't add up.
I actually don't like that woman's voice, and this, I don't know. I'm just trying to get into these Bigfoot things. A buddy of mine turned me onto it. Anyhow, yeah, it came out pretty good. I did double it on all the ends each time. This is the only one I really made the mistake. Well, you can't really even see it. Maybe you can. I can't see from here. Where the holes didn't line up on one of them on the back side, but the thread, I think, covers that all up. So if you're going to use black thread with the black leather, your stitching, it looks a lot better. Let's see if I can get this on here. I'm off camera for a moment. There we go. So, boom. This is an old Seiko I picked up from a guy who was in the Air Force, career Air Force, over 20 years, and gave me a good deal on it. So again, I'm going to go over this. I'm going to go under this one here. I'm going to go over the second one. And I'm going to tuck the leather under. Oopsie, if I can. First time doing it here with this brand new band. Just got to break this in a little bit better. This horsehide's a lot thicker than the other one. So I might have to trim it down a little bit. Let me stop this for a second. Okay, so you can see that it folded underneath like that. It really only took me another 4 seconds to do that. I can trim the length on that if I want to, but it's nice. Let's get this on my wrist correct. Yeah. So it's actually a Saturday. This I didn't wind this watch. You can tell it's not running. The Seiko shuffle there. Anyhow, Horween leather Zulu strap. That's the first. I've got to stitch up the rest of these here. Got 4 more to stitch up, and I'm gonna do all that right now. I got a friend coming over, so hopefully I can get this done before she swings by. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is, you know, again, not really a how-to necessarily, but how I'm doing it. And I'm kind of stoked about this. And I'll have one of these for each of my 22mm watches. If I have an extra one, I'll let you know in case you're interested. And I will talk to you guys next time. Have a great day.